Hi guys, this is Charis, and this is part 2 of the Spotting Otherworldly Beings video series. It's only going to be 2 videos, so I don't know if it's a series. Anyway, I'm sorry I didn't post anything yesterday. The day flew by really fast. It was weird. I guess, you know, with the full moon and everything, and happy full moon, by the way. With the full moon and everything, the energies were just a little crazy. So, anyway, I left off telling you about the wake and about the angel that I saw, and I think I figured out the wake, at least part of it. And although ETs and things like that don't usually use the wake, I know at least once I've seen a wake and known that it was an ET cloaked, but usually it's not ET. Anyway, so after having seen the angel and out of the corner of my eye, which made it easier, I guess, for my brain to not discount it and just make it kind of explained away to something totally different, I realized what the wake was. And I realized what it was because there was a mouse in my house in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We knew that there was a mouse there because we could hear it at night, and we put out some humane traps for it, but it was outsmarting us with those traps. I mean, that was a smart mouse, or maybe we're just not very smart mousetrap or humans. Anyway, so one morning, I'm standing in the kitchen, and the blender was running, but I wasn't facing the blender, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this dark shape move across the floor, like right next to me, like right in the middle of the kitchen. And it's so funny because I realized after this, kind of like with the thing with the angel, like what else are we blocking out that we don't see? It was exactly the same idea, because what initially happened in my brain was that my brain said, there's nothing there. That's not anything. And you know, that's really weird, because after a second, as I'm, you know, still looking forward and seeing this thing out of the corner of my eye, and then I look and realize that it's a mouse just walking across the kitchen floor, because I guess he figured that since the blender was running, we couldn't see him or something. I was like, no, there's definitely something there. And that's why I think that we actually see lots. But if it doesn't fit our paradigm, we say, oh, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. Kind of like how tiny babies will look at things that we don't see and interact with them and talk to them and laugh with them, but then they eventually see that we don't interact with those things, and so they just stop looking. And I don't think it's that they stop seeing, although I think eventually they do. And I guess in another video I'll tell you about a memory I had when I was a little kid and I decided to stop seeing because I wanted to have friends. And so I knew I couldn't have friends and see because I couldn't lie about it. And so I just said, okay, well, I won't see anymore. Well, I guess that was a memory, so I just told you. Anyway, so what the wake is, and the reason that it goes like a ripple, is I think that it's your brain saying, that's not real, and then fills it over frame by frame. But since it's a little bit behind the image, it follows it, which makes a wake. So I think that that's what it is, but I also don't think it's only our brains that do it. I think that other beings kind of use that too. Kind of like how, I don't know if you've heard of cloaking before, but if you're going to go into an area where you don't feel safe, for instance, you can do a visualization of putting on like a invisibility cloak. And you put it on and you pull it over your head and you say, okay, no one can see me who will mean me any harm. And if you say it firmly enough, you'll start to see people's eyes just kind of glide over you and don't realize that you're there. So if you were to say go into a store and buy something and you didn't want anyone to see you, then the person, for instance, who checked you out after you left, and if they're questioned, might say, oh yeah, I guess there was someone there. Yeah, definitely someone bought something, but I don't really remember who they were. So that's something that you can do. And the thing about these otherworldly beings is, rather than figure out technology the way that we have, especially with the fairy realm, they use a spirit type of thing. So they've just really mastered the art of camouflage, which is also why they can just blend in, and some people just see them come out of stuff and then they just blend right back in. And that's more overseas, more in the northern European places. They still talk about, you know, elves and fairies and everything like they're real. It's no big deal. And this is grown-ups. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. And as far as taking the cloaks off and taking them down, I haven't gotten there yet, so I'm really not sure. But I do know that when I see one of those wakes, and it comes and goes, it's more or less common. For instance, after moving to the city, I haven't seen very many of them. But I also haven't spent much time outside, comparatively, to what I was spending outside. And I think that that's a huge difference, natural light versus artificial light. Anyway, that's all I have for you. Today is a full moon, so make sure you set your intentions. And we're halfway through 2012, which is crazy. My website is up. It's at charismelina.com. And I'm going to be teaching an intuitive development web class in the next few weeks. I'll keep you posted on it. So anyway, go in peace. Have a great day. And I will talk to you again soon.